What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and this bathroom remodel saga. If you saw the last video, I talked about we got in the bathroom essentially functional. We got the shower all done. We got the toilet in, we got the sink in, mirror, light, all that stuff. We got it functional, but it is very clearly not done. There's obviously, we're missing doors, we're missing trim, we're missing paint, we're missing all kinds of stuff. So, 13 months later, believe it or not, yes, 13 months later, I am finally getting back to work on this bathroom. It was really easy to get kind of, used to having the functioning toilet and sink up here again. So we sort of just left it that way for a while, but it's time to get back to work. So I'm going to work on a few specific things today, more drywall related stuff. As you can imagine, living in this bathroom for the last 13 months, it's taken a little bit of wear and tear since the walls were not painted. I messed up on my cut there. I messed up on my cut there. We had new HVAC put in a few weeks ago, so we've got new rectangular grills instead of the old round ones. So I gotta patch that hole. And there's just a few other little miscellaneous things here and there to basically get the drywall back up to ready to being primed and painted. And then I'm also gonna start on trim. So might get to hang in these doors today. I think I've had these doors for 13 months. I think they have been down here in our pantry room for about 13 months. I had them here in time to install them last November, but I ended up just not installing them. So gotta get those installed, casing, baseboard, shoe molding, all that good stuff. Okay, everything is dry now, so I'm gonna go ahead and break out the sander and resand all this stuff real quick. If you saw the last video, I used our Festool Planex, which is a big radial sander with an 8-inch diameter head on it, and I sanded the whole room with that. So I'm not gonna fool with getting that back out. I'm just gonna use our Festool ETS 125, which is a little 5-inch random orbital sander, which is perfect for small things like that and that. And right here where we had a few nail pops show up along this stud for some reason. Everything is now primed. I forgot I had an extra light bulb base, so I threw that up there to give a little bit more light in here. Sorry, the video quality's probably not been great for the first part of this video with only having the shower light on. But hopefully it'll be a little bit better now. Got a little bit more light. Basically double the light. As you saw, I just pulled out this old door. So now we got the new door ready to go in. Exploring the previous colors. There's the obvious light, kind of lightish blue, but then you can see the layers. I don't know if it shows up in camera or not, but there's, here's a little bit better shot. I think if it'll focus, come on. There's a kind of like a really light beige color, and then a darker gray, and then there's actually an even darker blue that was on top of that last gray layer. So there were at least 4 different colors on this wall before we made it kind of a light gray or whatever it is now.
It's Benjamin Moore's like super white.
Oh, okay. We have doors. It's been a long time since I hung a door, so it took me several hours. It is now close to 5 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon. So I definitely did not get as far as I hoped to today, but that's okay. The doors are installed well and they function perfectly, which is awesome. So aside from the obvious size difference, there is another difference that you can't see just looking at them. This is your normal run-of-the-mill, at least these days, interior hollow core door. You know, nice and lightweight, a little bit cheaper. But what we decided to do for this house is switch to solid core for all of our bedroom doors, our bathroom doors, things like that. And we'll stick with hollow core for closet doors, things like that. But they're not that much more expensive. They were, I think the solid core ones were only about maybe $20 more expensive than the hollow core, which is well worth it because it just feels much better when you're opening and closing it. I did discover one mistake that I made a long time ago, and when I went to install the closet door, and as I've already talked about in this series, I'm not interested in BSing you guys, so I'll show you what happened and how I more or less fixed it. So when I framed this door opening, I framed it about 1 inch too small by accident. I just did the math wrong on the opening, which is a really silly mistake to make because I have framed so many door and window openings in my life, and I know how to, like, this is a 34-inch door, should have been a 35-inch or 36-inch rough opening, and I framed it at a 35-inch. So missed it by 1 inch. So the solution, which was relatively simple, was just to pull out the jack stud on this side, because this is not a load-bearing wall, so there doesn't need to be a jack stud under that header. It's, you know, screwed in there, it's fine. But the problem that created was that my tile cut did not line up, and it was actually significantly worse than that first. Because by pulling out the jack stud on this side, it created enough space for it, but you could see about 1 inch of that tile cut, you know, outside of the door jamb. So I took out the jack stud on this side as well, and then I put the edge of this door jamb right on the edge of the cut on this side, which left about maybe 3/16 of an inch on this side. Only other problem that creates is I don't have any more of this tile. We either used all of it or more likely just returned the leftover tile, you know, a year ago when I did this bathroom. But the grout is close enough to the floor tile that I'm just going to grout the small areas like this. There will be a little bit of this corner here that's visible, and then also, of course, all of these areas here. If this was a client's bathroom, I would not do that. We would go buy another tile, but it's our upstairs hall bathroom. It's not really gonna be visible with the door closed. You'll only see it with the door open. It's essentially our kids' bathroom, and I would have to go buy another tile. I don't have stuff with me to cut and install it. It would just set me back quite a ways. So that was the decision that I made in order to continue making progress on this bathroom. So that's, you may disagree with that, but that's how I chose to do it. But now that the doors are hung, the next step is casing them, which will then allow me to run base and shoe the little bit of it that I need to do. There's probably more base, there's probably almost as much base and shoe in the closet as there is in the main bathroom. But that will come tomorrow because it's already getting late, and it'll be easier to just set up the saw and do all that stuff tomorrow morning first thing, because I got time right now. So that's what I'm gonna plan to do. So I'll see you guys back tomorrow morning.